Hey everybody! In today's video we're going to take a look at my 750 horsepower 2011 Shelby GT500. We're going to look at what a 2011 is, we're going to look at all the extensive mods I've done to this car, and then we're going to finish up by taking the car out for a spirited run and see it in action. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Here we go! The 2011 was the first to get the plasma wire arc transfer versus sleeving an aluminum block, and it was also the first year to get electric power assist steering. The aluminum block in the 2011 shaved off, I think it was 102 pounds if I remember correctly, versus the 2010 that was going out. In 2011, Ford had an optional SVT performance package available. This car is a base model, Kona blue with Oxford white stripes, and you can tell it's base because it has the wide stripes versus the skinny stripes of the SVT performance package. And when I was searching for my car, I specifically wanted this combo. This was the one that was in the brochure, kind of like what I went with on my 2020 GT500. The Rapid Red with the black stripes was the one in the brochure. I wanted the Kona blue with the wide white stripes, and it turns out only 123, if I remember correctly, were made of this color combo. So it was rather difficult finding one, and I found this one in Chicago, 4,000 miles on it. I flew up to Chicago in January of 2012 when the car was still in the first year of ownership, and bought it and drove it home. Fortunately, it was a nice clean day. There was no snow or salt on the roads, and got it back to Texas. It was a fun drive. So getting this car in January of 2012, I drove it stock just for a little while. Later that year, I ended up doing most of my power mods, which we're going to get to here in a bit, including the 2.9 Whipple. Bought the car with 4,000 miles, like I said, did the mods at about 9,000 miles, and now the car has roughly 35,000 miles. I don't, just preserve this car like I do some of my low mile collector Cobras, Mustang Cobras. There's enough of these made that I can drive it guilt-free, put some miles on it, and enjoy it without worrying about diminishing value too much. So as delivered from the factory, this car came with a 1.8 liter Eaton Root style supercharger. It made 9 PSI boost, 550 horsepower. It's now making 17 pounds of boost and 750 horsepower with the upgraded engine package, but again, we'll get to those mods here in a second. Stock, it has 6250 RPM rev limiter, which I still have in place, and electronically limited to 155 miles per hour, which is also still in place. The 2011 weighs roughly 3,800 pounds. The base model came with 19-inch wheels front and back, which this car has. The SVT performance package came with 20-inch wheels. That was offset in the rear, rather. And that was offset with a 373 gear set. This one has 355 gear sets, making them roughly the same final drive ratio. Sticker price for this base no option car in 2011 was $49,500. right, time to talk mods. I've done extensive mods on this car. The first biggest one that I did was the Ford Racing 750 horsepower 2.9 liter Whipple kit. It added the twin screw Whipple. It added a twin 65 Ford Racing throttle body, a larger intake, larger filter housing. There's a double fuel pump that I dropped into the fuel tank, and the Ford Racing tune to handle the newfound power. That was the biggest mod in this car. It transformed it. It took it from a fun car to a crazy car. Lots of power on tap, too much power, especially for the original F1 tires. I've since added tires to make it more usable. We'll talk about the tires here in a sec. But as long as we're under the engine bay, or under the hood here in the engine bay, we'll talk about other mods that I did. This car has, they're no longer available I don't think, but the blue racing Gates racing belts, both the supercharger and the aux belt. There is a Thump racing tensioner down there. Out of sight is a VMP twin fan heat exchanger to keep things cool. And I've got JLT twin set of catch cans there, both driver and passenger side. Let's see. Other mods, I've got some polished bits to match the blower. I've got CNR tanks, coolant tanks, as well as Shelby GT500 caps. I've got a Shelby fuse box cover that's polished. And then painted doodads, I've got my original factory fuel rails, which are showing some tarnish. I pulled those out and painted them. I've got a Shelby decal and GT500 on the other side, battery master cylinder covers, painted strut tower caps. I got a custom radiator cover that I painted myself to match. Let's see, I don't think I mentioned the chrome Ford Racing coil covers. You can see those down in there. Got NXT hood struts, and I removed my hood blanket and had to paint the unpainted portion Kona blue there underneath the hood. All right, out from underneath the hood, we'll talk about the exterior mods. This will be a mix of some performance mods, as well as quite a bit of visual mods that I've done on this car. Let's see, starting at the front, I've got a lower painted spoiler, or splitter you'd call it. I painted my stripes on there, and then I added the lower three pieces of the 13-14 splitter that bolt up on the 2010, 11, and 12 as well. I added pinstripes, red as you can see on my car. And then I tried to carry themes and colors through. I also put fender stripes with white pins on this car to match the Kona white stripes. Incidentally, a lot of the Corvette people say, the Corvette Grand Sport originated the fender stripes. Not true, they actually borrowed it. They came initially on the AC Cobras, two-seat roadsters. They were used to identify which cars were coming into the pits back in the early days. Other vinyl I've added to this car, I put Whipple decals up on the hood. I did Shelby windshield banner with some snakes on the sides there. And in the back on the gas cap, I put a white Shelby logo there to go with all the white stripes. I also added painted louvers, so these are the Kona blue painted quarter window louvers. And then I had MRT paint a set of their louvers blue, and when I got them, I added the white stripes and pinstripes down the louvers. My wheels are chrome AMR American Muscle drift style wheels. They're 19-inch front and back, 8.5 wide in the front, 9.5 in the back. Chrome wheels are no longer offered by American Muscle, and really could have used wider wheels, but the chrome only came in 9.5 in the back. I've had these on since 2012, and they still look brand new. I added chrome lug nuts And then in the center of the wheels, I added custom vinyl decals. I'll show you on the other side because that one's right side up. I had an eBay vendor years ago make me some custom vinyl decals right there, and put those over the plain center caps, and they look brand new still all these years later. Also on the wheels I added red valve stem caps. And then the wheels, or the tires in the front, are proxy ones, because I put R888s in the back before the R888Rs. And I was fully aware of the noise that the R888s and R888Rs have. I didn't want that added noise up front, so I just put proxy ones up front. And put R888s in the back, 295, 30, 19s in the back. And they're pinched a little bit on 9.5-inch rims, but they work well. And then I had Treadwear make some white letters that you affix to the tires. And those have been on for years. Been holding up and looking great. All right, looking inside the wheel, you'll see I painted my brake calipers red. And I put some blue Brembo decals on there to match the blue paint. I've got Disc Italia drilled and slotted rotors and Pro Stop ceramic pads to keep the dust off of the chrome rims. In the back, I just painted the regular Mustang calipers red to match the front. In the back of the car, we got some bite with the Borla S fabulously sounding mufflers. With the Whipple pushing a lot of air out, those things sound absolutely awesome. Here you can see the Diode Dynamics clear marker lights. They look white, which kind of matches the stripes. And they light up amber and red when, let's see if I can open the door and get those to come on. There we go. There is amber in the front. And red in the back. Other exterior mods, I put chrome handle covers on my door handles to match the chrome wheels. I also got some billet snake wings, as they're called, and put Whipple on there, 750 horsepower. You can see in the snake eye there, I put all my snakes on the cars with red eyes. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 outside, plus the floor mats inside all have matching red eyes. Kind of carries the red theme throughout the car. I also have an antenna, sat antenna covered, painted, and striped to match. To help tame the wild beast that is 750 horsepower and a solid rear axle, I've got Bob's billet lower control arms down there. You can see through the wheels. And I don't know if we're going to be able to see very well, but I've got a Phase 2 Watts link. Let's climb underneath here. Phase 2 Watts link. You can kind of see right there. That replaced the adjustable panhard bar. A mod that we're not going to be able to see is my DSS one-piece aluminum drive shaft and BMR safety loop. But I did that basically at the same time I did the Whipple upgrade. After speaking with techs at Ford Racing, they said if you're going to add a bunch of power and traction, it's highly recommended to add a one-piece drive shaft versus the weaker two-piece one that came stock. On the back of the car, I've got a vintage SVT plate like I have a lot on a lot of my Mustang Cobras. Maybe actually all my Mustang Cobras. This was still produced by SVT. Ford Performance came about later. All right, let's have a look inside the car. So inside the car mods, you'll see I got blue map lights shining up there. I added the Lloyd's Cobra mats, and of course got red eyes in there to match the outside. I've got a performance monitor right here with an Aeroforce Interceptor OBD2 port, plugs in there and monitors a bunch of parameters through the OBD port. I also added a boost sensor so I can read boost above the stock gauge of 15. There is an EPCO shift knob, which incidentally was the first one made with both forward-facing snakes. Took a lot to make that happen. Most of the vendors couldn't get it approved because the Shelby snake officially faced right. I went right to the manufacturer and they got it approved. And now most of them come that way with both snakes facing forward. Right in front of that is a Shelby VIN plate for my car. And I think that's all the mods on the inside. Just a basic GT500. You can see out the rear window louvers there. I've had this car for over, 8 years now. It's been a lot of fun. It's crazy, it's wild. Solid rear axle is a little unpredictable, a little sketchy. Sometimes at speed, especially with all that power. But fun car. Actually, I taught both of my sons when they were 15 how to drive a clutch in this car, which sounds crazy. They did drive some of the other ones in here too, but this one has enough torque in it that it's harder to kill. So yeah, they both, with their learner's permit, got to drive 750 horsepower Shelby. Not too many 15-year-old kids can say that, which was kind of fun. But here in just a sec, gonna get the car outside and take it for a run. Let's see it in action. Here we go. All right, got the car out in the sun. Get that blue paint popping. Chrome wheels are all fogged up with condensation from coming out of the cold garage. More ass. Time for a little rev. All right, taking this sucker for a drive. First things first, with 2011, actually 2010, they added, Ford added stability control in these cars. And the traction control is very intrusive, especially when you upgrade the supercharger. So every time I start my 2011, start the key, hit the traction control button one time, that turns off traction control, leaves stability control in place. That kind of unleashes all the horsepower, so to speak. But the nannies are still there if the rear end steps out violently to the side, which it does randomly because it's a solid rear axle. The Watts Link does help that, but you know, it doesn't solve it entirely. But yeah, every time I drive the car, traction control button off, one push. You can also put it in sport mode. I find that really does nothing, especially with this 750 horsepower Whipple. And you can completely turn off everything by pressing the brake, holding it, hold the button, I think, for 5 seconds. I don't do that because stability control is there to help, and it's a good thing when it does step in and help you. All right, we'll get to an open area and we'll have a little bit of fun. All right, here we go, a little fun, spirited driving. Now I've got some independent rear suspension cars, my 2000 Cobra R, my 2004 Mr. Chrome Terminator, and then the 2020 GT500 that I sold recently, but the other one's coming. Those cars behave differently than this solid rear axle car. So I kind of ease up going over bumps, watch my speed, especially going into turns and hitting bumps. But straight line performance, this car is a whole lot of fun. So we'll get over this hill a little bit here and we'll give it some gas. Tires probably aren't too warm, having just come out of my cold garage. It's fun. So the nemesis of these cars is heat, especially when you're adding boost. So like I said when I was in the garage, this car started out at 9 psi boost, 550 horsepower. It's up at 17 pounds of boost, 750 horsepower. And even though I've added a VMP twin fan heat exchanger, inlet temps, what's called IAT2, which is the charge temp after the supercharger. Those temps can shoot up rather quickly, and Rob's power. This car, I'm running the Ford Racing Tune, so I kind of use 120 as my number of full power available, maybe slightly higher than that. But I know when I have IAT2 of less than 120, I've got full power available. Maybe it's closer to 130. Once you start hitting the magic number, which is proprietary information, the tune starts pulling timing and you lose power. Right now I've got my Aeroforce interceptor gauge. It says 125. We've gotten a little bit of boost back there. It's currently 90 degrees outside. It'll come down a little bit. I usually run 30 to 35 degrees above ambient temperature with this car. Good for some runs, some hero runs, and then heat soak kicks in and you start losing power. Now I'm in July in Texas, so there's heat. The other part of the heat problem is the brakes. These brakes can get warm, and also, especially since I have the ceramic brake pads, they get warm, and they'll start fading on you. You lose brake efficiency. I did a little video a while back comparing the 2020 GT500 with the 2011, and I had almost complete brake loss running the cars through both through the same paces. But not getting on the brakes too hard today. We'll play in some boost. Right now we're up 127, so yeah, we're already down in some power. But we'll get around the corners up here and go back into boost. I've got a little less than a quarter of a tank, so my fuel gauge light will probably come on here. Here's a good spot. We're going to do a little launch. Now I can see down the road here a little bit, and there's no traffic around here. So here we go. We're going to do a little launch. That was half throttle, not full throttle. Full throttle. And off because we have a hill on our bump here. There we go, gets a little unsettled going over that bridge. That's fun. Alright, getting this car out of the hole is always a challenge. Obviously, heavy feet up front, light rear end. I do have the wider Toyo R888s with better traction, 100 tread wear rating, so they're sticky, soft, they help. With this car and the power, if I'm on etched concrete, a good concrete freeway type setting or frontage road, I can almost stand on first gear, not quite, to get up and going out of the hole. These older asphalt roads like this, in the summer I can stand on second gear, especially when the power's down due to heat soak. But winter, you're feathered first, second, third with the colder temps. We've got some dark clouds up here ahead of us, and I just got this car all detailed up. Spent last night and this morning detailing this car. Last thing I wanted to do is get rained on. So we'll do a little bit more spirited run, and then we'll tuck it back into the garage. Well, the fuel light came on right when I stopped the video there, so stopped and got a little bit of gas, put a half tank in there in total. When I shut it down, the temps, when I fired it back up, said 142, so obviously way down on power. Now I'm trying to cruise with very little throttle, and it's down to 129. I think we got an opening right here. I'm going to put it down in second and stand on it, and we'll see how it goes. So here's in second gear stand. Oh yeah, that's enough. This car gets a little light. Yeah, a little unwieldy at high speeds. Gets the heart pounding though. Alright, our temps are up 141 right now. Good times. Alright, got another spot with good visibility here as soon as I pass the mailman. Temps are 141 now, so second gear, here we go. How about second gear? Lightly so I don't lose them. This thing is a straight line beast. A lot of fun. We got another opportunity here to do one more run. Temps 147. Way hot. Here's second gear. Oh, there's a vehicle. Second gear, little short run. Alright, back to letting the car cool down. It's a few vehicles, and then we'll pull out and try to launch the sucker. Now, my IAT2 temp right now is 141, so I'm going to be down on power. So it'll actually be easier to get out of the hole. But here we go from the stop. It works. All right, get the seatbelt unlocked. There we go. Do another run here when we get a little more clearance on traffic. When I got the Whipple installed on this car, I kind of referred to it as the sledgehammer. It hits hard. It's fun. So here we go, second gear punch in. Another thing on this traction control, so the traction control does a few things. It pulls fuel, pulls power from the engine. It also hits the rear brakes, so which can burn up your rear brakes quite a bit. Puts a little stress on the clutch there for a little bit. So yeah, me personally, in these cars with stability control, I just turn traction control off. It's more of a nuisance. For cars that only have traction control, you're obviously risking more by turning off traction control. But for these, it's intrusive. We'll try and give it another little run here as we come up over this hill. We'll see how it looks. Temp is 134 right now. I'm in fourth gear. Come up over this hill and have a look. Alright, here's third gear. A little sideways. gets up there quickly. Yeah, the rear end stepped out to the right just a little bit on that one. Not enough for the stability control to reel it in. All right, we're gonna try another hole shot here. This is just a country bumpkin, old asphalt road, so it's not gonna have good traction. Temperature is 143, here we go. All right, I think that's enough of our runs. We're pressing our luck. All right, gonna take this car back into the garage. We'll wrap up the video by talking about, I showed all the mods, but I didn't really talk about what mods I like, which ones are good, which ones were a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna go through that list when it's back in the garage, give it a little quick peek around the other cars, and we'll call it a day. See you in a sec. All right, safe and secure back in the climate-controlled garage. We put some heat into this car. It was fun though. All right, talk about some of the mods. Under the hood, the Whipple, 750 horsepower Whipple kit. Absolutely love it. Transformed the car. I wanted a good conservative tune. I know there's other tuners that can get more power out of this kit. I wanted something that would last the lifetime of the car, wouldn't hurt the cats, I could pass emissions. And that's really what drove me to the Ford Racing complete kit. And I'm also a big proponent of buying a complete package versus piecing together your own kit. That way, if you have any problems, you're not left with vendors pointing the finger at each other. It's just a one-stop shop for when you have any issues. This kit's been fabulous from day one. Love it. Would do it again in a heartbeat. Completely transformed these cars. With the Whipple, the one-piece drive shaft is a must. I don't even know it's there. No increase in noise, vibration, harshness, nothing. It's just down there, been doing its job since 2012. The lower control arms, they help secure the rear end a little bit. The Wattslink did too. Not a huge difference like independent rear suspension, but enough to help tame it. Sticky rear tires are an absolute must with this car. I've got the Toyo R888s. They do add noise. You can hear them humming inside the car, kind of almost like a mud tire. But for me, it's worth it. I've done some road trips with this car, but you just kind of get used to it. But for the most part, this car is just a local fun bruiser. I've got my rear window louvers up right now so that you can see. I'm a big fan of these. I like the way they look in the car, especially with the stripes on there. They just unhook in the corners. You got some props there to hold them up so you can clean the window underneath them. Yeah, I like that look. I also like the look of the quarter window louvers. Borla S exhaust, an absolute must on a 2011-2012. I think they are hands down the best sounding muffler for these cars. The 2007 through 2010 Borla S apparently has drone with it. This car has zero drone, just fabulous bark out the back. A lot of the nicety mods that I've done, visual mods like the painted doodads. Those, I think they're a California Pony design or something like that. Those battery covers and master cylinder covers. Huge pain in the ass, one of the biggest pain in the ass mods I've done on this car, simply because the outer edge rubbed on the hood, and I ended up redoing them like 4 or 5 times. I ended up having to grind down the outer edges, fill the inside edge with a plastic filler, and basically take them down to where they wouldn't rub, and then painted them quite a few times. My strut tower caps, they also rubbed, but they rubbed on the hood blanket. Ended up having to do those a couple times, and that's why my hood blanket is no longer there. And removing the hood blanket, no issues with stripes, paint, heat, nothing. I mean, these are the original stripes from 2011, built in 2010, so vinyl still looks fabulous. All the other polished doodads are just there to match with the Whipple. Really don't serve a purpose other than just to look nice. Coil covers, same thing. And then let's see, all the other stuff is just kind of visual. Yeah, I've enjoyed modding this car through the years. I've gotten my mod freak bug on, so to speak. The you know, the rest of the cars in this garage are all pretty much, well, they're all 1 year only cars, all the Mustang Cobras. The 93, let's see, back behind me, 93, right there. 94, the Cobra Pace. 95, the only hardtop convertible. 96, Mystic. The 2000 Cobra R and the 2004 Mystic Chrome. Those are all 1 year only cars, so me personally, I don't like to mod rare vehicles like that. But the 2011, you know, they built a lot of these. 2007 through 2014. I don't feel bad modifying it. And plus, I kept all my original stuff if I ever wanted to put it back to stock. Well, in conclusion, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's a look at the 2011, what the 2011 GT500 is, what mods I did, which ones I like, which ones do again. Actually, I'd do them all again, to be honest. I've had fun modding them, even the pain in the ass ones that I had to do multiple times over. They made the car what it is today. And we got to see the car out for a drive. We got to see how heat affects it, and it's a lot of fun driving. Now, every time I post videos like this, I usually get comments, people wanting to buy the car, you know, asking how much. The previous videos I've done with the other cars, people are always in the comment sections, you know, asking how much it would take to buy the car. This car is not for sale. No plans to ever sell it. It is a lot of fun to drive. You just have to be mindful of some things. So mindful of getting out of the hole. You can't just hammer it and expect good things to happen, especially when you don't have good traction. You got to be mindful of engine temps as far as pulling timing, how much horsepower is available for you, and then obviously brake temperatures. The 2020 GT500 that I got last December, kind of a different animal. The 2020, you can hammer on it all day long, every day until it's out of gas. Keep filling it up, keep hammering on it over and over. There's really no deficiencies, things to worry about. The 2011, you know, it's not to knock it, it's just much older. It's evolution of the Shelby GT500. They've come a long way. Those things are a lot of fun. If you have one, enjoy the hell out of it. If you don't have an upgraded supercharger on them, highly recommend it. It makes a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time. See ya.